Hi everyone, welcome to another episode in Let's Talk. Let's Talk with me, Gayatri. Uh, Today we have Megha with us once again, and today's topic is just simple work. We're just going to discuss about what we do and why we do it, and is it really needed. Welcome, Megha. Good evening.
Thanks, Gayatri. Good
As
evening. And I'm sort of joining in from a very cold Bangalore. It's the cold. I think it's really cold because of a cyclone sort of crossing by Tamil Nadu.
hmm,
Um, but I think for the audience who've not heard me speak before on any of the episodes, I'm Megha, 2 decades in insurance, reinsurance consulting space, and based out of Bangalore. That's about me.
Thank you, Megha. Welcome once again, and thank you for taking out time. It's episode 4. You have stuck with us for 4 episodes.
No, it's a pleasure speaking and pleasure, I think. So for me, I think I really look forward to the conversations. It really
Mhm.
brings out uh, various perspectives and just sort of broadens the horizons.
Today, what I had in my mind was I work and you also work, as you just said, and Devashri, who would be our next speaker, she also works. And I just thought I was thinking through what could we discuss, and this topic sort of popped up in my head: work, right? And how I see from our previous generation, how I see in our generation, the quantity of women working has increased drastically. It's my perception, but I wanted to hear what others feel. Today, I feel in amongst 10 people who are working, minimum uh, five,
7, 8 yeah,
yeah,
no,
seven, eight.
minimum
I was
7, 8. If you
keeping
look
it.
at metros,
Huh,
easily 80% of women would be working.
yeah,
But again, I feel that that would hold true for the second generation women in
yes,
cities.
yeah,
For people or women who've migrated, maybe
mm,
due to marriage, primarily due to marriage.
yeah,
They would have moved from a tier two, tier three setup
mm,
to they married somebody who's working in the city. For
got it.
those women, I still feel that um, they, at least what I see around, is they're still uh, not working per se.
Mm,
By not working, it's just a job that they don't
yeah,
have. Of
yeah.
course,
But they, of course, they're
everybody is
working.
working.
It so
Yeah.
just for our listeners and for our viewers, right? When we say work, we don't mean you have to actually wear a blazer and then go out to work. It's just mere, if even if you lift a cup of tea, it is counted as work. So
Yeah.
today we are just discussing how doing work from women's perspective uh, actually changes our mindset and how we have evolved. Maybe in previous generations we were not working outside the house, but today you see so many women out and about and working in different fields. So we are just discussing those things and those pointers. What does work do to a, let's say, a human being's brain, right? What does that do?
Yeah.
Meka, what do you think it
Yeah.
does?
So I feel that the evolution, all of us have evolved via working. It
Mm,
probably started with cultivating or farming, then taming or keeping animals,
mm,
um, then a mix of both agriculture, horticulture, various forms, and then of course, I mean, most recently, let's say hundreds of years back, industrial revolution,
mm,
factories, and putting schedules or routines around it, because when there were factories, you go in the morning, you come back in the evening, there was a set target given to you. But essentially, never ever humans would have been idle per se.
mm,
We either had to hunt
mm,
when pre-agriculture era, or then when agriculture came into the place, then things started evolving differently where we are growing our food. But
mm,
it's always been that a man or a woman, humans would have searched at least just to satiate their hunger. That's the
mm,
bare minimum definition of work that would have
mm,
evolved.
mm,
Now, if we look at the world now, That hunger is, of course, no longer growing food for us, but minimum basic needs like building a house,
Mm,
owning a car,
mm.
having a laptop or
Absolutely.
headsets or tech or new clothes. So that's the definition of hunger. And how do we achieve that? By working.
By working.
Uh,
Yeah. Securing the future to some extent. That's also now increased a lot. I feel, of course, in our previous generation also it was there, but now all the more it has
yeah,
further
you can
increased.
call it consumerism, you can call it
Consumerism.
materialistic, but
Mm,
simply put, I think it's just how we all are evolving, where the needs and wants are more.
yeah.
Sometimes it can be just for leisure,
Mm,
but it also can be for, let's say, at least from an Indian context, affording a good health care. For
yes.
that, do I need to have money? Do I need to have a job? Yes. To pay my
Yes.
insurance premiums? Yes. Because all those bare minimum sort of needs are also not met by the government. When we look
Mm,
at the world, of course, there would be countries and governments where at least there is a assurance that you would get your daily bread and butter,
mm,
right? You
yeah.
would get certain allowance, couple of hundred of dollars a month
Mm,
to sustain a living. But for a country like ours,
mm, yeah.
where, just as I said, if,
Because of
if you look at
population,
just hunger
other
itself,
reason.
yeah,
Yeah.
for whatever reasons, right? It
Mm,
can be population, it can be governance, it can be with just a very young country,
yes.
70, 80 years being an
Yes.
independent country, right? So there's so many factors to that. But again, why am I earning? To have the bare minimum sort of a living.
Sorted.
Everybody's working for that.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's the definition
Mm,
of work per se.
yeah.
Now, to your question, what does work do to a human brain? Uh, I think no one can sit idle. And COVID probably was the biggest realization that
Mm,
uh, even if I would want to, uh, I don't think so. My brain is not wired to
wired.
just sit
Yeah.
do nothing. So humans are wired to do something.
Yeah.
I have a dog, a retriever, 5-year old. Now, even if I look at a non-human living thing, right? Because it's an animal.
Mm,
Even they want to do something. Can a dog just sit idle throughout the day? No.
no.
They also sometimes bring their toys, they want to eat food. So, all living things, in my view, uh, just cannot sit idle. If you look at, like, there were ants in my kitchen, right? So, even the ants are trying to search for
Yeah.
something,
Mm,
sugar or some food grain which
yeah.
has fallen, carry that all the way to their wherever they are storing.
Their warehouse.
So, yeah, so I
Yeah.
feel that, all living things are working, to
Yeah.
put it like that.
Mm,
Um, and it keeps us. Now, what does it do to our mind? Because we have to work, but we've been conditioned that way that, no matter how rich you are, son of
yeah.
richest families, Ambani, Tatas, even they are working.
Working.
Do they do
Yeah.
it for money? Not really, right? Of course, growth, aspirations, XYZ factors would be there, but it's just the way you lead a life
Mm,
is to keep your brain engaged,
active.
and that
Mm.
engagement or activity would be picking up
Work.
some odd job.
Yeah.
It can be
Something. It need not
materialistic,
be. Yeah.
there can be money stitched to it, there need not be money attached to it,
Yeah.
but it's just a way to live sanely or soundly.
Yeah. You said a very nice point that we are relatively a very, when I say we as in I'm also from India. So India is relatively a very young country,
Yeah.
just not even 100 years of
A lot of
independence,
Asian
right?
countries, true.
It's
Yeah.
a very young country and it is
Mm,
seeing things for the first time because we are
true.
making our own decisions. We are on the global platform and everything. And if I travel back, so the other day I was reading through our history and what we were
Mm,
before everything, before even colonialism and everything. In our ancient text, women were actually working. They were, when I
mm,
say
mm.
working, we didn't have industrialization, but we were working. We were
Correct.
having small businesses which were being owned. We were having our own inventory. We were delivering goods. We were the front face of marketing, uh, so to say. So It's just that we've also been, we also have that DNA, we also have that in us.
Mm.
Maybe down the line, I feel that things changed, and work got associated with respect. The point
Yes.
which you were
Yeah.
telling, right? Which is
Mm.
so true. And because of that, now we see work uh, as a form of rebel.
Mm.
That now
Or
I
proving ourselves.
proving
Yeah.
ourselves, which is not exactly needed, because there's
Mm.
we've already reached. We were
Mm.
always in that level. It's just that we're putting in extra effort to prove and to get that point, prove that point correct. But it's fine. But do you think, Megha, what do
I
you think?
feel, yeah, so I feel probably to the point that you just raised that, when we look back at history, women were sort of equal or co-bearers of the work. It
Mm,
can be at the field, it can be at home, but
mm,
there was never a discussion I
yeah,
felt, or there was never a feeling that I'm doing more and you're doing less,
correct.
right? Maybe the
Mm,
women were just bearing, or they were having big family, they were raising kids, and that itself was enough as work.
yeah.
uh, but again, to what at least I have seen during 80s, 90s, early 2000s, was a lot of care w- was given to men,
Mm,
uh, stating that he has to go to office,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And therefore the way we started associating work and respect was, if somebody is going to office, if somebody is going to a shop, right, businessmen or whatever,
Yep.
they are respected in society.
Yes.
Why? Because they're bringing money,
Mm,
and from that money a household is being run,
correct.
right? And therefore, at least for the generation of our mothers,
Mm,
I felt that very less women were working at that time.
yeah.
Uh, Maybe if I count on fingers, very handful, somebody who had easy jobs of running a clinic from a house, not even
Mm,
going out to the
mm,
hospital,
mm.
right? Or somebody who's a teacher. Why teacher? Because they go,
And
they
come
take the
back in
kid
the same
along to the
time.
same
Yeah,
school, they come back
yeah.
timely. It's like a job where you can manage everything, a household and teaching and XYZ. So,
Mm,
so even those jobs, though women, of course, were contributing to a great extent to the family, but they
mm,
were not at par with what a man was doing. A man went to the office, their lunches are packed, and if, let's say, there is some disturbance or a child is not well, right?
mm,
And a child is crying throughout the night, a mother is taking care. The
mm.
grandmother would say, no, 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 you sleep in another room. Why? Because your father has to go to the office
Yeah, I
next day,
understand. Mm,
right? So that is more important
correct.
than whatever is happening in the four walls in a
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
So when we have, at least you and I, or a lot of women of my generation would have seen that when we were
Correct.
growing up.
Mm,
uh, Firstly, we wanted to prove ourselves, to your point that,
yeah,
it was already proven. So why now? Why
correct.
now? Because there was an era, maybe one or two generations, where men started getting more recognition
Mm,
simply because they were out and they were getting some money. And we wanted to do that to
mm,
earn that respect,
yeah.
right? Because we saw that. And maybe not in many households, but even how
It,
movies,
movies
how
were
your cinema
projected.
positioned men
Yes.
and women at that time, and that is such a big influence to the society as well.
Mm. I
uh,
think it is
so
even tougher for men. Like their entire identity is linked to the job they do
yeah,
and the
exactly,
money they bring to the
exactly.
table. So
Yeah.
it's so tough for them too, that they are defined by the work they do,
Mm.
the amount of money they make through that, and how well they are able to sustain that lifestyle.
Themselves, their families.
Correct. So it's
So
so tough for them too. it's just that we as a society would have to evolve, find that middle ground, that it's okay if a family is making this much
What
money
if a
and it's
man wants
not.
to do an easy job?
Yes, what
Let's
if he
take,
wants to retire early?
they
What
don't,
if
yeah.
he does not want to
There's so
work? He
many
wants to retire.
aspects, and
Yeah,
what if a woman wants to have a very sort of hectic or busy schedule? It's their
yes,
choice.
yeah,
It's not something that how will you manage?
yeah.
There is still,
I,
even if I have to now travel for 2 weeks,
mm,
uh, the immediate question from my family would be, how will you manage? How will the
yeah,
family manage?
yeah.
If a man has to do that, then no, 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 it's very important for his promotion. He has to
Correct.
go.
Yeah,
His training is
yeah.
important, right? So
This
those,
as a
uh, so
society we would have
we
to
all are
figure.
feeling it even now.
Yeah,
Matlab, from the point that I started, that our mothers or that generation saw it, even now we see it.
yeah,
And therefore, it's all the more that, even after 20 years in corporate, why am I being questioned for
mm,
something that I have decided that I should do,
mm,
and it's just a week or two away. It's not like even if I'm going for fun, that should be fine.
yeah,
But this is purely, so I
mm,
think lot of a lot of recognition, your value, your respect,
is
in
derived.
social circles, in
Yeah,
family,
yeah,
it is derived from who you are. What's your position, what's your
yeah.
money,
It's
and
so
which is not the
sad that
right.
it's
Yeah,
not
which
the
is
right
just
thing. It's
not the right
absolutely not the
thing.
right thing, because
But
I
that
feel
is how the society has
that's how the
evolved,
society
sadly.
works. And
So,
when will it change? I was thinking through this point. When does a society change? It
very
changes
interesting question,
through
because
generation.
yeah,
It doesn't change in
in that
a,
generation,
in a decade
absolutely not.
also. It's
Yeah,
generation. Like today we
yeah,
have a different set of thinking, and tomorrow the
correct.
next generation will see us and have a similar set. So
Yeah.
now we are bringing in change, but that is also
Mm.
in a very small range. And only through that will we develop a society where we are valued. Each person is valued, and
For
each
the
family.
contributions,
Yeah,
yeah, monetary or
for their
non-monetary.
monetary,
Yeah,
non-monetary, monetary, it
yeah,
doesn't matter, for their
yeah.
contribution. Now, that being said, do you see women in all fields, or have you seen that
No,
variation?
not really, not really. And I'm still so surprised. I met, so my husband is from IIT, and I met a couple of women there who are who
Interesting.
also graduated from IIT,
Wow.
and then
Wow.
they were just talking that, okay, what does your kid want to do, and blah blah blah. And then I said my daughter is really interested in architecture, like in studying and then becoming an architect. Then one of a very wise ladies was like, no, 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 this career
Um,
is not for women at all. My cousin tried to do that, and it's just
uh,
dominated by men. So no, 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 no.
in
And I remember
2025,
when,
she said that.
yeah, and I'm
Mm,
like, okay, I hear you,
mm,
but what do you think would be the reasons? Why do you say so? No,
yeah,
it's all men.
mm,
All the laborers are men.
mm,
If my sister
correct.
goes there, it's she feels very strange.
Mm,
It's a lot of endurance. It's a
fair
lot of
point, though.
hard work physically.
Yes.
So
Mm,
because I also had a very peculiar expression when she said that it's not for
not
women.
good for
But when
women.
she
Yes.
started outlaying the reasons, I had this vision of my daughter, and then, trying to fit her into what she was describing. So
Yeah.
I heard her keenly that, probably what you're saying is also not wrong. So I should not just outrightly
That's what
say
I
that, oh
feel.
no, we are in such a
Yeah.
modern era, and I should, totally
You should know
ridicule.
your. Now, I'll just take a minute here. The other day, I was hearing a podcast. It is a podcast run by the channel was run by a doctor, and he brings in doctors to his podcast. And a doctor, a woman doctor, a lady doctor, was talking about her journey into MD medicine. And MD medicine is treated as a very tough stream
Correct.
choice. And then she was telling that why he asked, why did you choose if you knew that it was tough? She
Hmm.
told, and it also is in a very toxic college. And she told that I knew that it
Yeah.
is going to be toxic. I
Yeah.
knew that it's going to be like this. And I went into it not with rosy things in my mind, but I went
Hmm.
into it knowing that it's going to be tough for me, and I came out resilient.
Yeah. Wonderful.
It's
Yeah.
just that sometimes it's good that she told you now that
Correct.
it's going to be like this. Now you know that it's going to be like
Hmm.
that. You need not. What the doctor said, which stuck with me, is that it's
Hmm.
not your responsibility to change everything in
Yes.
your limited amount
Absolutely.
of time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You have only 3 years. So her residency was only for 3 years. And
Hmm.
she said, I had only 3 years with me. Either I
Hmm.
go finish my job and
Yeah.
come out, survive it and come out, or I take it up to me
Fight
that I have
others'
to change it.
battles and yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
it's not. It's not your battle. What the least you can do is the next set of juniors who come under you, you treat them little bit
Coach
better
them,
than how you
mentor
were
them.
treated.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's just that you need to choose your battles, and it's good that
Battle.
the lady told that it is going to
Mm,
be a tough field. Even I asked you the question, right? In 2025, she said that she can't do, but it is correct. You will be surrounded by men, and men who are not used to taking orders from women.
very
The
true. Very
same
true.
thing
Yeah.
happens in army also, right? Men
Mm,
are not used to. First of all, men are not used to taking orders,
yeah.
and then if it comes from a woman, they have a different perception in their head that you know who.
Yeah, and there's always a hypocrisy or a diplomacy around what
Yeah,
men can do freely.
yeah,
Again, culturally, it might vary from a country to country.
yeah,
But you and I both know that if we just hung out and we are, sort of partying till midnight as women, and especially we both spent our childhood in Delhi,
yeah.
it was just not permissible, right? And if
We
men do
ourselves would
that,
not
or
do it.
young, yeah, or college boys do that, then it's okay.
Yeah,
Uh, and then we talk about equality, and then women should work. So we are being very very like hypocritical in a way, because
yeah.
at one point of time when a girl is young, when she's forming her views, she's 18, 20, you're teaching her some other things, and the moment she lands up with a job, then you're saying no, no,
You want
everything
to.
is equal, and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
prove yourself, work hard.
yeah,
So as women, it's always I think different in terms of how we define work.
yeah,
And even when we are making our choices, there is a lot of criticism, as I was giving an example of a training, or
yeah.
let's say I want to go for a year to for a deputation out of the country. So it'll always be
It's not easy.
questioned, because
Yes,
you know if you're in 20s, you should not do that, get married. If you're in your 30s, then don't do that, embrace
you have to
motherhood.
take
If
care
you're
of
in your
family.
40s, oh
Yeah,
no, you something, your health would ruin and whatnot.
yeah. So at every point we
Vis-a-vis,
have someone to, or someone or something to,
and it might be people who are very
answer.
close to you. It might be your own parents. It might
Yes.
be your better half. It might be. Uh, I think. I think at least for me, I've never seen a kid being a rebel. That mom, don't do this. I need you.
Mm.
I think kids are probably more understanding and supportive, but
Yes.
there'll always be
But
those.
nowadays, you know what, Megha, I feel
Yeah,
something is changing. Uh,
it is. Oh,
Today's
it
age,
is.
the
Yes,
kids,
yes.
no, no, this is a different thing. The kids are telling that my mother is not spending time with me and she is always on
Mm.
her job or always on her call, which is very saddening. I don't know. It's not
No,
happening.
yeah. No, there'll always be aspects like that.
Mm,
Even I remember when I was growing up, my mother was a housewife, but my next door neighbors, two daughters, I also have a sister, so two daughters,
mm,
their mom used to go to office,
mm.
come back by around 4:30, and they used to complain that mama makes
Ah,
food and it's always
mm,
cold. We come back
mm.
from school, we open the lock, and we our food is never like, you're lucky because you're getting whatever
Hot
you
food.
want. Sometimes you
Yes.
can say that
Mm,
I don't want to have this, so your mom would make something. So
yeah.
there'll always be those complaints, but back off. I think a litmus test is when you feel that a kid is mature enough, a
Correct.
boy or a
At
girl,
that point,
ask them
mm,
ask them whether they want to be at home or whether they want to pick a job.
yeah,
And then you'll be surprised at the reasons why they say that they want to go out, because it gives them the same independence, the
yeah,
same confidence.
mm,
As I said, it's just not always monetary.
yeah,
If you look at, if at least for me, if I look at my mother,
mm,
uh, I think she would have grown as a person very differently if she would have stepped out
yes.
of the house,
I agree
right? It
completely.
was
Yeah.
never for money. Even if she would have volunteered for an NGO, even if she would have done some, let's say an assistant or a helping sort of a job at a boutique, because she was very good with embroidery,
Mm,
knitting, XYZ, it would have groomed her very differently.
yeah.
The way you talk to people, the way you handle clients, the way you
Yeah.
negotiate, the
Yeah.
way you handle
It's also
money.
about time discipline. money
Yeah.
and time discipline.
You
So
know,
you know that
it's
this time you have to
just
get out, so you will get out and you will finish all the
exactly.
chores before that, otherwise you
Yeah.
keep lingering the chores. It is so work,
And it
as
is
you
so
said, it gives us
important
many things.
to just break those monotonous
Yes.
routines in your life on your own. Of
Yes.
course, there were occasions where the husband would say, "Oh no, enough, let's go out. You're tired of cooking." But if you do so, decision making,
Mm.
right?
Oh, this
Why
is a good
my
point.
mom is not, why my mother was not okay with even little decisions. She used to look up to my father, and why we feel so empowered to take decisions either for us or collectively for a family. It can be a big decision like even buying a car or a home. So women of your age, of our generation, are doing that.
Yes.
And and
Yes.
and and I think that's the kind of confidence any human being would want,
Needs.
be
Yeah.
it a man or a woman,
Or a
right?
woman.
So we
Yeah.
we we should not, we should not just always put gender sort of stigmas to
Of
it,
course.
but any human being really wants to feel empowered,
Mm.
really wants to feel, uh, liberty in taking their own sort of
Yeah.
decisions. And that's what work
Work does. Yeah.
sort of
So then
brings
work
to
gives us
you.
that to
Yeah,
make decisions. It gives us the
yeah,
clarity and the courage to break patterns, monotonous patterns, or anything. And it also inculcates uh, a slight, not slight, it also inculcates good amount of discipline in us. And
true,
that
true.
brings us to the next point, right, which I wanted to discuss. Thinking through this point, that do you feel uh, women have a different way of a way of analyzing than men, and does that bring out a difference in work? When I say work, it is any kind of work, business,
Mm, mm.
non-business, technical,
Not just, yeah.
non-technical, anything. Because
Mm,
now I feel all the more. I was listening to one of the TED talk, one of the podcasts, not TED talk, where the woman said that we work very well in pressure.
mm, mm,
Our brain actually thrives in pressure, and for men it is other way around. They are
mm,
clogged by pressure. And of course some men, I'm not telling all the men, I'm not telling all the women, it's just that we are good multitaskers,
mm.
right? And that goes in our favor when we go out and work. Now, do you also feel that way? Or we might be completely wrong, we are just discussing things here, we are not
Yeah,
scientists, but yeah.
so, to your point again, I feel that we are just, of course, sharing our experiences.
Yeah.
And even to the listeners of the podcast, it's just what we have seen in our life, and we are fairly young to also comment. But I think the intent is just to share our experiences, our take on a topic,
Mm,
which might resonate or might not resonate with the listeners. So that's a disclaimer. But I
mm,
think a very, very interesting question, and there is no right or
yeah.
wrong sort of
Mm,
an answer there. So there is no yes and a no. It's again very subjective
mm,
uh, to an individual, to what an individual's journey would have been, and also culturally,
mm,
because when you say that women perform good under pressure, so you are describing a woman at what age? If
mm.
it's a woman who's 2021, just out of college, do they perform better under pressure? I would say no.
Ah, good.
Because because then, if I look back at my journey, I feel that probably because I was an introvert when I was growing up,
Mm,
and men around me really were acing, you
mm,
know, or handling things very differently.
yeah.
Uh, so that's like, at that time, at least a lot of female colleagues were not able to multitask,
Mm.
were not able to, all that you outlined, we were not
Yeah.
able to meet any of those criterias
Criteria.
to perform
Correct.
better or multitask or XYZ. Uh, Fast track, when we embrace changes in our life, be it
Mm,
marriage, be
mm,
it parenting, be it taking care of our parents who are aging,
mm.
then I feel you start probably performing better or
Correct.
multitasking. Uh,
Good
and
point. Yeah.
and those in those stages, I feel men are still the same. because even as a parent, even as somebody who's in a marriage, there are a lot of responsibilities which are being given to a woman.
Mm,
लेट्स से खाना क्यों नहीं बन रहा है,
mm,
खाना अच्छा नहीं बन रहा है,
mm,
बच्चा रो रहा है. सो अभी बच्चा रो भी रहा है, if a kid is crying, you're still trying to just cajole them quickly, trying to just log into a Teams meeting. And
mm.
it's not just my singular story. A lot of women around me
Predominantly,
have
yeah.
gone through this, and that's how you are trained to multitask.
Yes. You
A
see
lot of
people multitask. Your
you
previous
see
generation has
when you talk
multitasked.
to
So,
other female colleagues, you feel you're not in it alone. Everybody goes
mm,
through this. I've turned up to my office without combing my hair, and if somebody's
mm,
like, "Yeah, at least just put a little bindi, or just do something because you're looking totally washed out." Was the kid okay? I'm sure you had a sleepless night, right? So those are like your cheer buddies
mm,
who would say that we all have gone through that, and
mm,
that's where I feel you get a lot of courage because you
mm,
see that everybody's gone through this journey. It's not just me alone.
mm,
And then you start performing better in a way, or at least you're able to multitask better than men.
mm.
Um, now,
It's not
this
that,
is the
okay,
context,
then what
correct?
what I understand is that it's not that men can't multitask. Maybe they
Yeah,
have not
they
seen
can.
men
Exactly.
multitask, and
Yeah.
that's
And
why. Uh,
is it cultural? Yes. Now, there are, of course, stages where, let's say, a child is on breastfeeding for 2 years, 2.5, whatever time.
mm,
Now, at that time, even if men want to help, as like the fathers want to help, can
they
they?
can't.
Not really,
Yeah.
right? Not much. Probably change a diaper or something, but it's still still the
Mm,
mother.
mm,
So those sort of phases of your life groom you differently
right.
as a woman versus as a man. Of course, I personally feel that uh, women have probably a different emotional wavelength as well.
Mm,
Um, and
EQ is
therefore,
different. Yeah.
therefore, the way again we relate to things, probably let's say a deadline, right?
Mm,
I have felt that it's a very generalized statement, but probably women own things more,
mm.
or they are emotionally connected to even things at work,
This
and
is
that's a
very
very
true. This is very.
and that's
I have
that's
felt it
again
myself. So the dangerous feeling to have.
there's so many there's so many working women where I have had this discussion,
Mm,
and now I try to mentor them that
yeah.
please do not do this.
I-
Do not do
You need
this. It
to say
is
that
not
one more
a
time
good thing
because it is.
to do.
I have
So
felt that
it's
through.
again with time where again during our phases of life, marriage,
Mm,
XYZ, even if
mm,
let's say marriage, no marriage, you're taking care of elderly at home, or you're taking some responsibilities. Let's say I have younger siblings, I want
mm,
to get them to college, see them
mm,
settling down. We are we are at least very expressive about our emotions. Maybe men
mm,
are also this emotional, but they don't express it. We
mm,
are very expressive about our emotions,
mm.
and we are not able to demarcate our emotions at workplace. And that's a very important boundary which we need
Which
to
we should
draw.
have.
Why?
Mm,
Because it burns us out.
yeah.
There are already so much of emotions, connections at home.
Mm.
If we start doing that at work, then we start hitting a point where we feel that, am I the only one? Why
One. Very
why
true.
aren't other people reciprocating the same?
Reciprocating.
And I should not expect that in a workplace,
Yeah. You
right?
cannot
Because
also.
family is fine, of course I can expect, and there would be, and I'm struggling again on those fronts, but
Mm,
workplace boundaries really need to be demarcated
mm,
from an emotional
mm,
standpoint. So that's my biggest message when I see women colleagues in their late 20s, early 30s
mm,
do do that. And then when it comes to performance assessments, reviews, then there are discussions where w- they also vocalize that I was so involved in that project,
mm,
right? By involved, it's not just the measurable deliverables, it's also
mm,
involved. right?
Mm,
Where I mean, there are examples that
yeah.
my
No, I
team
get that.
members
That
give.
this
So
point which you said, it's very important. Of course, we think differently, but uh, it shouldn't come and bite us. We should be very we as women. I'll talk about myself, right? I feel that I should be very uh, not too attached. I should know
mhm,
attached detachment policy that
yeah,
you should know when to cut off, when to uh,
mm,
give your 100%. Of course, it doesn't mean that we will give only 50% to the work. No, we are going to give our 100% to
yeah,
the work, but it shouldn't be
but
the
not
case that
yes,
I've given 100, so I want, now I'm attached, now I will.
110 in return,
Yeah,
yeah,
nothing.
or
It's okay.
when
It's
it
just
comes
business
to
at the end of the day for them
it's just
to,
business, and
and
you
you
would
shouldn't be
be
emotionally attacked
teams,
by
you would
anything.
be moving
Yes.
departments, you would be moving organizations. Now there is a side effect to that,
Mm.
because if we start doing that at work,
Mm.
then do we bring that at home as well?
Ah,
And that's where also, at least I sometimes feel that I have done that, that if I'm trying to be
it comes.
non-emotional
I know.
at
I know
home,
that
or,
feeling.
or at work, and then am I like, is it impacting
My
me
relationships, yes.
me as a person at home as well? So relationship is also secondary, but if I evaluate myself, I would ask the question, is my corporate image,
Mm.
take, thought process, if if that is impacting me, or am I taking those bits or bringing
Mm.
those bits at home as well?
Yeah.
Because it comes into your
You
language,
can't.
it'll
Yeah,
come the way you talk to
it will
people.
come. It will come. You
So
can't
you
differentiate or
can't,
segregate it.
yes,
No,
so you
it's
can't do
how
it
you are as a
100%.
person. So this is what I keep telling myself and people around me. If they ask me, your
Mhm.
intent has to be. It has to be so
Pure,
clear and pure.
has to be pure,
It has to be
absolutely.
clear as ocean water. You
Yeah,
can't have mud in it and then expect your results to be
correct.
multifold and all. Your
Mm,
intent of doing any action or whatever you do,
yeah,
with any action, your intent has to be pure.
it should be pure,
Whether
it
it is
should be.
work, whether it is personal life. And once you achieve that, I know it's a very tough thing to do and tough thing to have, but once you inculcate that habit, then I'm sure things will fall into place and you will. And it's important. Sometimes I feel it's important to set boundaries even in our families for
Absolutely,
your own peace.
absolutely.
Choose
Yes.
yourself first, because otherwise, what happens? Now we are digressing from the topic, but if we don't put ourselves uh, in our
Yeah.
own list, nobody
Hmm.
else is going to put. Like हम
Correct.
अपने ही लिस्ट में नहीं है तो दूसरे की लिस्ट में कैसे
Yes.
होंगे? वो तो
Yeah,
पॉसिबल ही
so
नहीं है.
there's also a saying that, happy people create happy environments.
Yes,
So if I'm
yes,
not happy
ultimately हो
as a
जाएगा.
person, no filters, I'm not judging myself as a mother, as an employee, as a colleague. If I'm a happy person, I would create happy environments. Now, in that
Eventually
happy
create.
environment,
Yeah.
if somebody is not happy, I should not take the ownership. It's because
Yes.
of me, right? And
You did
that's
your bit. You did your part, and then
yeah,
now it's up to them whether to receive it or
correct.
not. Same goes in workplace also. You've given your
Mm.
hard work, you've given your 100%. Now, if the results are not matching, let's work on it. Let's see why it's
Yes,
not
let's
matching, but
evaluate, let's
not take
reassess.
it too hard to your heart
Correct.
and then keep that lingering thought. So, yeah. So ultimately, we've concluded that we do think different from the opposite gender, and
Yes.
we need to balance out our thinking. And we as a society also have to grow to accept working women, to accept women who've gone out of their uh, broken the patterns and gone out to prove themselves, to whatever the reason may be, to prove economically, as you said, even to have a discipline in their life, just to go out and work. It brings a lot of change to break that monotonous way of
Yeah.
life if they want to
Routines.
do that. And if they're doing that, we as a society should accept it and we should evolve with them. So it was a good discussion today, Megha. I hope our viewers and listeners derive something out
Mm.
of it and know that they're not alone. Even if you're starting your journey or in your journey or thinking of pausing it, it's all your choice. Right, Megha? Any last few words before we close our episode?
No, I think just a last thought when you said that we or women should go out and work and we should be okay with XYZ.
Mm.
It also holds true for the other way,
Yeah.
that if men do not want to do
Mm.
things like
Good.
like
Good
let's
point.
say
Yes.
uh, my brother, my husband, wants to take a year or two
Break.
off,
Let's say break. Yeah.
you know, for anything. It need not be upskilling. It can be that I'm just tired of running around. It's been 10
Mm,
years.
fair.
Let me take a pause, reassess. Again, there are cultural nuances there, because in India we are really insecure about finding another job.
Mm.
But if it's really
Oh, this was the
bothering and
point.
taking you down, then
You
there
should take a
should
break.
be pauses, there should be reflections on what you want to do.
Definitely.
So that's very important. If, let's say, there is a father who wants to be very involved at home, raise a
Mm,
kid,
mm,
uh, or take a lighter career when, let's say, my daughter is in 11th and 12th,
mm,
and the father needs to be really wants to be around to support
mm.
uh, the daughter's aspirations,
Day-to-day
then why
life.
not?
Yeah, of
Why
course.
not?
We as
You
a
know,
society
and
should be acceptive of that too. You're right.
again, I've seen, even for our generation, you know, time and again, there have been examples where, let's say, I'll share my example of my sister, where she was pursuing her PhD. Her PhD was completed in time. She joined a college, but her husband's PhD took much longer. So
Mm,
he was practically unemployed, not even getting stipend for
mm,
for the duration
mm,
that the PhD
mm,
was extending, which was good 2.5 years. Forget my family or me or the girl's side. The His parents, his grandmother was like, "Why aren't you working? You should do
mm,
something. Just
mm,
take a coaching, open up a coaching center."
mm.
He was trying to convince that, I really need this time to complete my PhD. If I do
Ah,
any job, then, I really can't complete my thesis. And
focus. Correct.
yeah, so there is so much of pressure on men as well, which I feel that it will change in the next generation.
Mm. It
Societies
is
keep
changing in our
evolving.
generation
It
too.
is changing. Look at corporates, right? Corporates, there are so many companies now who've extended paternity
Maternity
leave,
leave. I was about to say
right?
that. Yeah.
So Men's Day celebrations
Mm,
in offices. So I think, yeah, as a society, we all evolve. Again, what you and I are sharing are our examples,
mm,
but then we have so many commonalities of spending our childhood in Delhi, in a
yeah.
city, in a metro. Probably if we hear some other perspectives or
Mm,
open to comments on this podcast, that
yeah.
what else can be a different lens of looking at the
Yes.
same topic. So
Mm,
we would be really, really excited to read some of those
sure.
commentaries and comments. But
Sure.
that's the last note and thought from
Yeah.
my side.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Thank you. Uh, as you said, to end this, of course, it is important for our society to accept women working and all of that and grow. It's also important for our
Yeah.
society to know that if the men of a society feel that they need a break, we should be okay with that. They are also, at the end of the day, human beings who are trying their best to to be the better version and the best versions of themselves. So yeah, and to all
It's
the
good.
men,
Yeah.
belated happy
Yeah.
men's
Happy
day.
Men's Day.
Happy
Done.
men's day. But yeah,
All right.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Megha.
Thank